Hi everyone, I'm Rick Beato. Today's episode is called Principles of Melody, Part 3, Bebop. Today we're going to analyze the first chorus of John Coltrane's Giant Steps solo to see if it follows the principles that I've talked about in the other two episodes. That's coming up next. Giant Steps was released on January 27th, 1960. It was Coltrane's fifth solo record, but actually his first release for Atlantic Records. The record was recorded over the course of 3 days. The main tracking of the record was on May 4th and 5th of 1959, with an extra studio day on December 2nd to finish up. And the album was to become one of the most legendary jazz records of all time. Probably one of Coltrane's biggest records, other than Love Supreme and Blue Train. I think those are probably his biggest records that he did and that he's most well known for as a leader. Now, Giant Steps it's gained this legendary reputation amongst jazz players as being one of the most difficult pieces to improvise over. The progression is characterized by a series of 5 one cadences that move in descending major third intervals. So it starts on the chord B major 7, and then it moves to D7 to G major 7, up to B flat 7 to E flat major 7. Then it does a 2-5-1 in G, so A minor 7, D7, G major 7, then it modulates back to E flat, to B flat 7 to E flat major 7, F sharp 7 to B major 7. And then it does a series of 2 5s, first in E flat, F minor 7, B flat 7, E flat major 7. Then it goes A minor 7, D7, G major 7, that's in the key of G. Then it goes to C sharp minor 7, F sharp 7, B major 7, that's a 2-5-1 in the key of B. And then F minor 7, B flat 7, E flat major 7, 2-5-1 in E flat, and then there's a quick 2-5 at the end, C sharp minor 7, F sharp 7, and then you're back to the top for the soloing. There's only 3 key centers represented in the song: B major, G major, and E flat major. But the problem is, or the difficulty is, that those 3 key centers last for such a short period of time. In the first measure alone, we have the chords B major 7 and D7. So we're in the key of B major, and then we're in the key of G major. B major 7 being the tonic chord in B major, and D7 being the dominant chord in G major. And then that resolves in the second measure to G major 7. But that G major 7 only lasts for 2 beats, and then you're on to B flat 7 and the second 2 beats of the second measure, which is the 5 chord in the key of E flat major. So in the first 2 measures, we've gone from 2 beats of B major to really 4 beats of G major, because it crosses over the bar line. The second 2 beats of the first bar to the first 2 beats of the second bar is in G major. Then the second half of the second bar is in E flat major with that B flat 7 chord, and that resolves to E flat in the third measure. And then that sets up another key change back to B major by going to F sharp 7, which is the 5 chord, the dominant chord in B major. All those quick modulations, and it's a fast tempo. Because of those quick modulations, it's really difficult to solo over. So what do? Well, you can't just solo in the key centers. You have to use these same principles I've been talking about, which is using chord tones on strong beats and non-chord tones or passing tones on weak beats. What Coltrane does a lot of arpeggios. He either does arpeggios or he will do these 1, 2, 3, 5 patterns. I'll give you an example. 1, 2, 3, 5 in the key of G would be a G add 9 sound. Okay, so it'd be G, A, B, D. It's the first, second, third, and fifth note in the key of G. He will use that similar pattern on dominant chords. That same thing would work on B flat 7. If I go B flat, C, D, F, that's the 1, 2, 3, 5 of a B flat 7 chord, okay, meaning the first note, second note, third note, and fifth note of a B flat Mixolydian scale. So let's take a look at the solo here and see what Coltrane's doing. So what we have here on the start on the C sharp minor 7 chord, this is the beginning of his solo. So it begins with the note C sharp. So you get root to the third, to the fifth, to the seventh of the C sharp minor 7 chord, okay? On your strong beats, you have the root and the 5th. Actually, you have all chord tones there. Now the 7th resolves to the 3rd, like I've been talking about. That A sharp is the 3rd of an F sharp 7 chord. Then we have the 9th, or the 2nd of the F sharp 7, which resolves to the 5th of B major 7. So you, once again, you have a strong chord tone on a strong beat. Okay, continuing on. The F sharp, which is the 5th of B major 7, goes to the 3rd on the weak beat and then to the root on the beat 2 of the B major 7. So once again, a strong chord tone, okay? Then we go to D7. And what do we have on the downbeat of the D7? We have a D, we have the root, okay? So we have a strong chord tone on a strong beat. Then the second non-chord tone, right, is on the weak beat, and then the 3rd is on the strong beat, and the 5th is on the strong beat. Then we get to G major 7, and we have the root. So the 5th of D7 resolves down one step, which is the closest scale tone to the root of G major 7. Then we have the 5th, the 3rd, and the root. Those are all chord tones. It's straight down the arpeggio. So here we have the 3rd on the second beat, which is a strong beat. Now, this is a little different. So we have a C on the B flat 7 chord on the downbeat, on the strong beat. But this is really implying an F minor 7 chord, which is a 2-chord substitute for B flat 7. That's really the 5th, the 3rd, the 2nd, and the root of an F minor 7 chord. That, and we know that the 2 chord can always sub for the 5 chord, and the 5 chord can sub for the 2 chord. Then it resolves to the root on the E flat major 7 chord. So you got root, 2nd, 3rd, 4th. So on the weak beats, we have the 2nd and the 4th of the scale, and on the strong beats, we have the root and the 3rd. Then on the strong beats in the second half of the measure, we're still on E flat major 7. We have the 5th, then the 6th, then the 7th, then the 9th. So once again, on the weak beats, we have the 7th and the 9th. On the strong beats, we have the 5th and the 7th, 2 chord tones. Then we go to A minor 7, and we resolve to the 5th on a strong beat, the 3rd, the root, and the 7th. Those are all chord tones, so you're going to have chord tones on strong beats. Then on the beat 3, when it goes to D7, we have the 3rd, okay? Then he goes to a flat 9 to the root on the 4th beat, strong chord tone, to the flat 7. Where does the flat 7 resolve? Well, the flat 7 resolves to the 3rd of the G major 7 chord. From the G major 7th chord, we have 3rd, so chord tone, chord tone, chord tone, chord tone. That's an arpeggio. That's a G major arpeggio right there. 3rd, 5th, root, 3rd. Then we go to B flat 7, and we resolve to the 3rd. Okay, chord tone on a strong beat. That's beat 3. Then we have the 5th, flat 7, 9. Okay, once again, you have the 9th on the non-chord tone, but that's just an extension of the arpeggio. So 3rd, 5th, 7, 9. Resolving to the root of E flat major 7. Okay, so once again, we have a root on a strong beat. The 9th is on a weak beat, non-chord tone, but scale tone. Then the 3rd on a strong beat, 5th on a weak beat. Then to F sharp 7, we're on the flat 7, which is a chord tone. Root is a chord tone, 3rd, 5th. That's an F sharp 7 arpeggio, straight F sharp 7 arpeggio, which resolves to A sharp, which is the major 7th of B major 7, which is a chord tone. Then we have on beat 2, we have a non-chord tone to a chord tone, quick resolution of the phrase, end of the phrase, into a rest. Now, here it says F minor 7 to B flat 7, but really what we have is a B flat bebop dominant scale, straight down. B flat, A flat, G, F, E flat, D, C, resolving down to B flat. That's straight down the B flat dominant scale. So what does it have? Chord tone, non-chord tone, chord tone, or this is chord tone, passing tone, chord tone, non-chord tone, chord tone, non-chord tone, chord tone, non-chord tone. Follows all the rules. On the strong beats, we have the root, the 7th, the 5th, and the 3rd. And then that resolves down here to the 5th of E flat major 7. Okay, so we've resolved to a strong beat, to a chord tone on a strong beat. Okay, so on E flat major 7, we go 5th to the 4th, okay, jumping up to A flat, and then, which is a non-chord tone on a weak beat, then the 3rd on a strong beat, then the major 7th on a weak beat. Then we have the ninth on a strong beat to the root, to the seventh, to the fourth. Okay, so we have a ninth, and I said in the last episode that the ninth, or the second of the scale, is a very strong, it's the first chord tone, it's the first, what we call extension, past the seventh. So that's the next strongest note you can have on a chord. Now this resolves to the fifth of the A minor 7 chord, and we're going straight down our arpeggio. Fifth, third, root, fifth on A minor. That's right down. So you have all chord tones there. Then on this D7 chord, we have a G, which is the fourth, or the sus4. G, E. Well, this looks like Coltrane is still implying A minor 7 until here, where he resolves on the beat 4 with an F sharp, E flat. So the third to the flat 9 to the fifth of G major 7. So it's essentially a delayed resolution. So you have 3 beats of A minor 7 and then 2 beats of D7. Now we resolve fifth, fourth, third, second, root. Once again, chord tone, non-chord tone, chord tone, non-chord tone, chord tone. Non-chord tone, chord tone, chord tone. And then we go to the ninth on the downbeat of the C minor 7 with a D sharp to the root, to the seventh, to the sixth. This kind of gets out of order here. You could say that in this area, he is simply going to the nearest scale tone and walking down the scale. So he's making the change, but he's not being very descriptive right here compared to how he's been every other time in the piece. But right then, so he's simply outlining the key, but not really playing the chord tones. He kind of has them reversed. But he's right back on here. So he's got F sharp, but that's on a weak beat. Then G sharp is the second, then the third. So this whole measure is kind of turned around. It's B major, but all the chord tones are on weak beats. Okay? Then you get to here, and we're back to strong chord tones on the B major 7 chord. We're back to the root. So we've got chord tone, non-chord tone, so root, second, third, fifth, 1, 2, 3, 5 pattern, which puts the root and the third on strong beats, the second and the fifth on weak beats. Seventh, passing tone on a weak beat, the sixth on a strong beat, passing tone. Well, this is actually just all passing tones down to the fifth, down to the root of the F minor 7. So this isn't as if he's playing a chromatic run down to here. So it's 7 passing tone, 6 passing tone, 5. So it's just a chromatic scale down to the root of the F minor 7 chord. Then we have the 13th or the 6th on the B flat 7 chord, which is a passing tone down to the 5th. So once again, this is a use of chromaticism here to the 5th, to the 3rd, then to the root on the E flat major 7 chord on the strong beat. Second on the weak beat, rest, 5th, root, 5th. And then he finishes out this first chorus with the third on an F sharp 7. It says C sharp minor 7, F sharp 7. He's actually just playing F sharp 7 for the whole bar. Beat 2, chord tone, non-chord tone, chord tone on strong beat, root, a weak beat. That's just the first chorus of the song, but it's a great example of what I've been talking about in regards to the principles of melody. Now, this also works in pop songs and classical songs, which I will go over in subsequent episodes. Anyways, that's all for now. Please subscribe here and tell your friends to subscribe to my Everything Music YouTube channel. And check out the Beato Book at the link provided in the description. I'm Rick Beato.